Well, child affirming care, aka child mutilation. First Portland, then Boston, now Vanderbilt. Matt Walsh exposes. I'm Jazz Borganzo, and this is what's next. All right, guys. Happy Thursday. Jazz Borganzo here. Another episode of What's Next, your daily dose of common sense and facts. I hope you guys are doing well. Excuse me. Child affirming care, aka child mutilation. We've seen it on a number of levels. We've seen it as far as Portland. We've seen the infamous Boston University Clinic and their lovely, lovely commercials or ads or what have you, saying how wonderful it is, until they got exposed. And of course, now they can backpedal fast enough. Now we go to Vanderbilt University Clinic in Tennessee. Of course, now they are exposed as child mutilation centers, but now they've upped the ante. When is enough? Enough. Let's take a look. This comes out of Daily Wire. It's unthinkable. Matt Walsh discusses shocking revelation about Vanderbilt University Medical Center with Tucker Carlson. There's Matt Walsh right there. Tucker Carlson uses opening monologue Wednesday night to report on Matt Walsh's revelation about Vanderbilt University Medical Center, and later interviewed the Daily Wire host about his findings on the hospital's transgender quote-unquote care. Walsh revealed in one video Tuesday that the Vanderbilt doctor openly discussed how lucrative transgender surgeries are for hospitals. In another video, a different doctor said medical professionals who object to performing the procedures should face consequences. Now remember, these are doctors that take oaths. Do no harm. Yeah. Right. Quote, we know this for a fact, that Vanderbilt, they perform double mastectomies on minor girls on children. They chemically castrate children, i.e. boys. They give them irreversible hormonal drugs and change their bodies permanently, Walsh told Tucker. Walsh then said this kind of stuff is happening all across the country in every single state. Every single state. Wow. One of the reasons it's allowed to keep happening because people don't know about it and because they're not talking about it. Now, of course, afraid to lose their jobs. Walsh commented, and I think for a lot of Americans, people just walking down the street, it's unthinkable. They can't imagine this sort of thing actually happening. And I'll add, in this day and age. I'll play the clip in just a little bit. Carlson then named all the board of directors on the Vanderbilt and called on them to act immediately to stop these treatments on minors. Following Walsh's revelation, multiple lawmakers, Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee himself, called for an investigation of the pediatric transgender clinic at Vanderbilt. Dr. Shane Siebold Taylor, who works with the Vanderbilt Clinic for Transgender Health, of course, which is separate from the pediatrics, admitted in one live stream video, these surgeries are labor intensive. They require a lot of follow-ups. They require a lot of our time, but they make money. She emphasized, they make money for the hospital because it's all about the monies. Taylor does not work with pediatric patients, and I'll play that clip in just a little bit myself. At another medicine grand rounds lecture, Vanderbilt health law expert Ellen Wright Clayton suggested that the objecting to transgender surgeries was problematic. If you're going to start conscientious objections, you have to realize that that's problematic. You're doing something to another person, and you are not paying the cost for your belief. I think that is a real issue. Clayton said that conscientious objectors will be accommodated, but said that these people have to find someone else to carry out such surgeries for them. I just want you to take it home, and saying that you're not going to do something because of your conscience or because of your religious beliefs. Because of, again, I just said it, religious beliefs, it's not without consequences and should not be without consequences. She stressed. We're given an enormous. If you don't want to do this kind of work, then get the out of Vanderbilt, she basically said. Vanderbilt released a statement Wednesday claiming to be victims of posts that misrepresented. Yes, misrepresentation. We have been and will continue to be committed to providing family-centered care to all adolescents in compliance with state law in line and professional practices standards and guidance established by the medical specialty societies. I didn't hear anything regarding about state. Did I hear any about? Oh, state law. I'm sorry, she mentioned that real quick. The medical center seemed to allow you to provide highly controversial transgender treatment to minors, but said Vanderbilt requires parental consent to treat minor patients and never refuses parental involvement and care of transgender youth who are under the age of 18. Our policies allow employees to decline to participate in care if they find it morally objectionable. Oh, they can, but doctors can't. Oh, okay, I understand that. And do not permit discrimination against employees who choose to do so. The statement continued. This includes employees whose personal or religious beliefs do not support gender-affirming care for trans persons.
As we told you, Matt Walsh is the man who broke the story about Vanderbilt's abuse of children. He just met with Tennessee Representative William Lamberth, State Senator Jack Johnson. They said they're working on a bill to shut this program down at Vanderbilt. Can't come soon enough. Matt Walsh joins us tonight. Matt Walsh, thank you so much. And for, among other things, illustrating how journalism can be a force for good, I think yours has been. Have you spoken to anyone at Vanderbilt Hospital about this directly?
Well, Vanderbilt Hospital, I mean, we reached out for a statement when we first published the report, and at first they didn't want to give a statement, and they actually just took down, as you mentioned, they just deleted. That's what people have to understand. They deleted their entire transgender clinic website. They wiped it from existence. And then today, not to us, but
really?
In general, they released a statement. And the interesting thing about the statement they released is that they do not, while they start by claiming there's misinformation and so on, they don't actually factually dispute anything in my report because they can't, because everything that I said wasn't me saying it. I was just providing video evidence, much of which you played there. Well, we know for a fact, this is an absolute fact, that Vanderbilt, they performed double mastectomies on minor girls, on children. They chemically castrate children, and they give them irreversible hormone drugs that change their bodies permanently. They're doing all of that to kids. And the other thing we should note, and I'm glad you mentioned all the other hospitals around the country, because the things I just mentioned, that's happening all across the country, in every single state, in many hospitals and in many other medical clinics. All of those things are happening. And one of the reasons why it's allowed to keep happening is because people don't know about it, because they're not talking about it. And I think for a lot of average Americans, people just walking down the street, it's sort of unthinkable. They can't imagine that this sort of thing is actually happening, but it is, which is why we have to start by raising awareness about it. And we have to do that no matter the game the left plays, by saying if you so much as mention what they're doing, it's incitement and terrorism, which is absurd. But we can't bend to that tactic. We have to keep shining a light on this.
Starting in January 1st of 2017, according to the Affordable Care Act, insurance carriers are mandated to cover medical expenses for trans folks. Some of our VUMC folks in October of 2016, starting a couple of years ago, put down some costs of how much money we think each patient would bring in. And this is only including top surgery. This isn't including any bottom surgery. And it's a lot of money. These surgeries make a lot of money. So female to male chest reconstruction can bring in $40,000. A patient just on routine hormone treatment, who I'm only seeing a few times a year, can bring in several $1,000s, because that requires a lot of visits.
This is insane. This is insane.
Now, these I got from the internet, but it's from the Philadelphia Center for Transgender Surgery, which does a lot of surgery for patients. And I just want to give you an idea of how much these bottom
Philadelphia,
surgeries
Pennsylvania,
are making. And this is,
in every state.
This has to be an underestimate. This is for a vaginoplasty. They're quoting roughly around $20,000 for a vaginoplasty, but that doesn't include your hospital stay. That doesn't include your post-op visits. That doesn't include your anesthesia, your OR. So I would think that this has to be a gross underestimate. I think that's just like the surgeon's piece of it, which...
What can you say? Seriously. I mean, what can you say? In every state. Matt Walsh says it's in every state. And I believe it. I believe it's in every state. And he's absolutely right. Is that regular Joe and Jane walking down the street are not going to know that their hospital potentially could be doing this shit. And of course, as you just heard that wonderful doctor there talk about the monies. And Philadelphia, which is, hits home for me, they have a clinic who's doing such wonderful child affirming care by lopping off Jane's breast and cutting off Johnny's balls. So, good times. But I tip my hat to Matt, and for him to continue to expose this shit. And he's going to have his hands full because there's got to be more than just him. It should not be just Matt Walsh and Daily Wire exposing this. There should be others. And I understand Tucker is doing what he does, but we all have to do our part to continue to expose this trash and shine a light on it, because if not, it's never going to end. Now that major hospitals have been exposed, Portland, Boston just got blown up. I mean, figuratively, they got blown up. So once they were on the radar, I guarantee you that every major hospital who does this shit was saying, uh-oh. And what happened? When Walsh exposed Vanderbilt, they yanked the website. You can't find it now. Oh, they have it, but you can't find it because they were exposed. But of course, it's all misinformation. It's all taken out of context. How dare you? We are the victims, Vanderbilt says. No, you guys are demons. You guys are fucking demons. Destroying children's lives by doing shit like this. And parents, you get just as much to blame, if not more, by affirming this. Instead of saying, no, you're a girl. No, you're a boy. Why? Because God made you that way, because that's what you are. That cannot be changed. But no. You got parents that are too progressive, allowing little 2 and 3 and 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds to make life-altering decisions when they can't drive, can't vote, can't buy a gun, can't get a credit card, can't buy a house, can't buy a car, but yet they can do this. Wow. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borgonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.